I'm here at NAMM, and instead of talking about gear, I want to ask my friends and fellow YouTubers a question about how to get really good at guitar. And my question is divided into two. One is, what is an emotional exercise that made them connect with music and guitar, and the second one is a technical exercise that really helped them. Wow, this is a lot.
In terms of emotion, I think the biggest thing is listening to your guitar, and if you shut off your eyes, you can hear better what's coming out of the guitar. So I do love to just close my eyes and then really hear that the guitar is out of tune. That's great. But if you didn't close your eyes, you wouldn't have heard it. Like, really just close your eyes and play, and for 10 minutes, and then open your eyes, and you will hear everything, every little detail so much more clearly if you close your eyes. Just follow your instincts and listen. Rotem, thank you for having me. It's awesome. I love you. Subscribe to your video. Cheers.
I think that's a pretty weird, hard, ambiguous question, but I think the big thing about connecting, at least for me emotionally, is like you have to think as little as possible. So for me, it's something about just like mapping out the neck on your guitar, and if you understand the neck intuitively, then you can just think emotionally about it. And so the big thing for me was just like learning all of my different chord shapes within all the different places. So like knowing if I want to play like an A minor 7, you can play the A minor 7 here, and you can also play it here, and you can play it here and here and here, and then knowing that also here I can play like a G7 shape. And so understanding the guitar neck in all the positions from firstly like a logical point of view and intellectualizing it, and then getting it to the point where you've learned that so well you don't have to think about it.
Bam.
Best emotional exercise I'd probably say is playing through either the pentatonic and the major scale and singing the notes as you play them, which is my favorite. So if you're like, so doing that.
I think an emotional exercise is to learn extended chords and then just try to like verbalize what they make you feel, right? So like, you know, a triad, like a major or like a minor triad, has somewhat of a basic sound, but like for me, the sound of like a major 7 chord, which is really kind of like a major chord and a minor chord together, have a certain sound, and especially where it sits in the key is very important. So like the major 7 chord as the 4 chord in the key, so it would be like a C major 7 in the key of G, has a certain kind of sweetness and like a melancholy to it. So I think actually having an adjective that you associate with the sound of that, where the chord is, what chord it is, and where it sits in the key, is a very like emotional kind of experience with an instrument that really is helpful when I'm writing different chord progressions.
I'm here with my buddy Jens Larsen, amazing guitar player, amazing YouTuber as well. We're just hanging here for about an hour and a half, jamming, super fun. And I want to ask you.
Oh yeah.
So basically, what are the 2 best exercises that you have to, 1, connect emotionally to the guitar, and 2, technically get really good?
Maybe the exercise that I think where you really sort of get to connect with how do I get the sound that I want to hear out there is actually to improvise rubato. So that you first play some, let's say that you're on a song.
Yeah.
Usually, like if you're playing like right. So we take that part of that song. Then I'll just play the chord, and play rubato, and go.
Yeah.
Listen to what I just played, and then see. Okay, so if I played that, what do I want to hear on the next chord? Like, where's this going, right?
Love it.
So, and then just give yourself time to hear what's going on, right?
I always think it's good to know the way that the chords feel, and to be able to feel them not only in your fingers and in your ears, but like in your soul and in your chest somehow. So I always advocate to sing when you're playing, when you're practicing even. So if you were to play, 1 and 5, and then sing the other notes that might make the chord a different quality. So you, and then change it to minor, and then change it to the 2, and then change think, emotionally connect to your instrument more. So you can try that several ways.
So the emotional exercise would be like harmony. I'm really into harmony, and it defines the context you're playing in. So exercise would be playing a note and trying different chords on it. This note sounds different with... And just really listening to the sound of the chord and feeling what it's doing to you. Like,
The best way to emotionally connect to the guitar.
Usually I try, when I hold the guitar, to imagine it's a fireball, and then I puke in my head, then I swallow it.
Swallow the fireball. And then the notes puke,
and yeah,
swallow
and
again.
What? Sometimes sometimes again, sometimes I... And then, like, you know, the cycle, yeah.
Technical exercise is actually a fun one. Is you play sort of seventh chords in one position, but then in arpeggios, basically. So the diatonic arpeggio. So let's say you're in the key of C, play C major 7, and then D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G7, and then A minor 7, and then B diminished, and then C major 7 again, and then go up and down. It's a great exercise to stay in one position and learn all the different arpeggio shapes.
For me, techniques, I don't spend a lot of time on that. I maybe err more on the emotional side of playing, if you will, but one of my favorite techniques is the Chet Atkins, Merle Travis style picking. And for this, all you're gonna do is just take your open chord shapes and then alternate, you're gonna create a bass line with it, and then fill in the rest of it with the chord. And the way you do that, it's very simple. I actually use tabs because it really helps me visualize it when I can actually like see it in tablature form. Standard notation helps as well. But what I would do is I would take one chord shape and play it really, really slow, so that I can think about each and every note I'm hitting. First I'm hitting the C, the root, and then I'm catching all these. One note at a time, and then you slowly speed it up. And from there, you can just keep on, keep it on.
A technical exercise that you can actually pair with that emotional exercise is knowing an arpeggio across the fret of that chord. So if I said like I like a G major 7 chord, right? All right, that's the chord that I'm feeling right now. I want to be able to go through it, like through, the fretboard, and then kind of like find those chord tones in the chord that I'm feeling. And once I can find the chord tones through the fretboard, I feel like I have a better sense of like finding a melody that is going to be more interesting to me because it's actually part of the chord. And it's just like a great kind of way to just get your fingers moving up and down the fretboard.
Amazing.
Is that cool? Nice. Woo. All right.
And the best exercise, I'd probably say, for me, has been the major scale in thirds, because I am not a jazz guy in any way, shape, or form. My technical skills are off, but great way to learn the major scale, and great way to just get your ear better about learning different intervals.
Yes.
So one exercise for technique that I think was sort of really a game changer in terms of like when you first start out and you want to learn how to play jazz, you want to sound like jazz, was you probably know how to play like if you play your major scale, you probably know how to play that the diatonic arpeggios. You anyway want to do that, so you have this. But just playing that, it doesn't really sound like jazz. And actually you can do something super simple, and then it's like shortcut. It's instant Charlie Parker, it's like just straight to bebop. So
Tell him.
if you have this arpeggio, so I will take the C major 7. What I'm doing is I'm going to play it as a triplet, and I'm going to add a leading note. So you're already working with some chromatic notes, which is of course useful. It's part of bebop. So I play a leading note before the C, and then I play the arpeggio as a triplet. And then you can take that through the scale as well. You have to play a little bit faster, so that's a little bit demanding. And of course you're working through the scale. That's also kind of sucks for your right hand, which is just healthy. You want to suck for your right hand so it gets better. And you have an exercise like that. And all of those are great, just immediate great bebop material, stuff that you can easily use in your solos. That sounds better than just playing the arpeggio.
Woo!
Yeah.
Same thing, I'm gonna use my voice, but I'm not gonna play. I'll find a note, I'll find a C, and then I just turn my volume down and I'm gonna play, but I'm gonna sing. I'm gonna go la da 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 da, then I'm gonna check it, la da 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 da, check it. And then as you get better at that, you can do some skips, la ba, then you check it, la da da da, check it. And you can skip all around the piano till you get better at it, and then you can just and you can actually hear the notes in your head enough to be able to sing them if you practice. I call it point and sing, and I love it. It's my favorite technical exercise.
Woo, that's killing.
Right on.
Yes.
It's nice to play scales like horizontally. So guitarists are mostly playing the scale, but try to play it on one string and just play it, and try to go to different places with that. And, yeah, just check it out.
It's also one of my favorites.
Right.
Jongens, leuk, bedankt voor het kijken. Tot volgende keer. Dit was Rotem's video. Geniet ervan. Klik even de subscribe knop below. En jullie zullen beloond worden met elke week nieuwe content. Super. Daag.
Doei.
Doei.